Hello, everyone. This is Panther from Gaming Artcraft. Um, Make sure you subscribe to the channel, Gaming Artcraft. Um, Also, follow our Facebook page of Coppercube Facebook group. Make sure you go ahead and join the group. Also, make sure you visit Glitch Velocity page, just in case. Um, and we're going to get into how an enemy can attack a player and how to move towards a player. So I'm going to give you the tutorial on how an enemy can attack and move towards a player. So subscribe to my channel, put likes and comments down below. Let me know if you like this tutorial so I can do more. And let's go. So make sure you download Coppercube 6.4. It's a free edition. If you want, you can purchase the professional and studio version of the application. So there you go. So right now, what you have here is you have an enemy. This is one of my enemies that I have that I use for a game that's already on itch.io. So go to itch.io and check out FPS Gray Armor Tactics. That's FPS Gray Armor Tactics. Go check it out. It's you can download. It's free to download on Windows and Mac. It got 5 levels of a FPS shooter game with enemies. So just go ahead and check it out. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna show you how an enemy can attack a player and walk towards the player. A lot of people ask me to do this tutorial, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it a go. So right now I'm going to show you. Right now you see an animated character of a enemy. I'll go ahead and show you the animation of what's in the animation, and I have a list of animations, at least like 8 of them. That's the idle. This is the look around. This is the screen. That's the walk. I got the jump. Uh, Play dead, if that's what you want to call it. I have the attack 1 of the character, the attack 2, and attack 3. There you go. So those are the animations of this enemy character that I'm using right now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the behaviors of of this character to interact with the player. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you an example of how would look if the enemy was not attacking the character and was not moving towards the character. You're just gonna have just a animation of a character that just stays still, not doing anything. So I'm gonna run a test and show you how it's gonna look before, and then I'm gonna run a test and show you how it's gonna look afterwards. Make sure you download Coppercube 6.4, the free edition. All right, there you go. So this is my FPS animation. Um, is You have W for walk, uh, S is for backwards, A is for left, B is for right, and the left mouse trigger for shoot. There you go. So as I'm moving around in this 2D room mash that I created in Coppercube, you're gonna you're gonna see me walk forward, and he doesn't do anything. I shoot at him, he doesn't, just stay still. He doesn't move at all. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go through the tutorial lessons on how to add all the behaviors in on how to have the character interact with the FPS shooter. All right, so let's start. So first, my character is called Parasite underscore Venom 2. That's the name of my character, of this character that I'm using right now. So um, first you want to start off with a game AI. You have to give the character a game AI. So the game AI gives the health, it adds all the animations, the die, and all that for the character to be interactive. So in your properties, you want to set up your properties so you know what to expect when it comes to your character. So in mode, you hit standstill, and health is going to be 100, movement speed is going to be 50, and here in tags, you're going to put enemy, which that's what you're tagging, and I'm tagging this as an enemy, and attack actors width is going to be player. Okay, active radius is going to be 50. All right. um I'm going to save this so I could continue doing the project because I don't want to run into any issues. So I'm going to just save it and put tests just in case. I don't want to run into any issues, so I'm just going to put save. All right. And let's save. All right, so it's saved right now. So you want to go ahead and fulfill all the game AIs of all the animations in here. So I'm going to put for stand animation is going to be idle. Walk animation is going to be walk. Die animation is going to be dead. And animation on attack is going to be attack 1. You don't really have to fill these things out. It's your own preference on how the way you want to use your character and how the way you want to animate your character. But I'm just gonna go through the way I'm gonna use my character and how the way they're gonna interact. All right. So on action on attack, you don't really have to put anything here, but I'm gonna put something anyway. I'm gonna put set animation. Okay. I'm gonna put my character Parasite underscore Venom 2, and I'm gonna put a attack. Okay. Now on action on activate, I'm gonna put the scream animation. Yeah. Scream. All right. Now on attack, action on hit. Action on hit. I don't really need to put any animation unless I have something where the character is interacting on the bullets being attacked at it. If you have an animation where the bullets are affecting the character and they're like stumbling, then you put a animation on action on hit. But what I'm gonna do for right now is I'm gonna put a sound, only a sound, because I want the enemy, to react to it when it's getting hit. So when it's getting hit, it makes a sound. So I'm going to go to game and sound, play a sound. Everything has to be wave files. So any special effects or any effects that you use for Coppercube 6.4, make sure that it's a wave file. So monster screen is going to be the wave file. I'm going to lower down the sound because I don't want it to be too loud when they're shooting the character. Maybe I'll drop it down to 60. I'm going to drop it down to 60. Okay. Now, action on hit is play a sound. Action on die. So on action on die, this is kind of different because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put proximity sensors on this character for it to move and attack the player. But for the action on die, usually you can put a die animation or a dead animation for that character to interact, or just once the FPS shooter kill him, he just fall down and die. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make the character disappear, and you're going to see like a blood um no a blood gushy splash that pops out when you shoot him. He explode or something like that. So just to let you know what I'm talking about, here is called blood splash effect 2. So this is already attached to the character, but I have it invisible, so I'm gonna make it visible so you can see it. So every time the shooter kills the enemy, you're gonna see like a blood splash. Okay? And that's gonna pop up right in front of the shooter. And you could tell it's animated textures. I use animated textures for this right here. It's an animated texture of a blood splash. So when the character is being shot, it splash. So okay, I'm gonna make it invisible again, so you can't really see it, but it's there. All right. So let's go back to behaviors. So on action on die, we're gonna use 4 actions on here. 4 actions. So the first action is gonna be hide. This will make the blood splash visible once the character once the shooter kill the enemy. The first thing you're gonna appear is the blood splash. So I'm gonna put blood splash effect 2. It's gonna make that visible, right? Then we're gonna add a sound because you want to hear that gushy sound when the blood splash and everything. So we're gonna add a sound, and this sound is gonna be called blood splash wave. It's a wave file. So blood splash wave file is going to be the sound. So what's going to show up is the blood splash, and then you're going to hear the gushy sound like psh. So that's what you're going to hear once it kills the character. The next action you're going to put is script. You're going to go to scripted actions. You're going to say do something later. On the time milliseconds, you're going to set this to 100. And actions to do, you're going to go hide. You're going to make this visible type, change type invisible. You're going to select the enemy, which is parasite underscore venom 2. You're going to make the enemy invisible. So once the character shoots the enemy and all life health span is gone, the character is going to disappear, and then the blood splash is going to pop up. Okay. Now you're going to add another action, do something later. You're going to set this to 10,000 milliseconds. Okay. And then what's going to happen is it's going to give it enough time for the blood to splash because there's an animated texture, and then it's going to disappear. So it's going to be invisible. Select the blood splash, and then it's going to disappear once it's animated. So there's 4 action scripts in action on to die. And that's how you're going to set up your game AI. So now it's time to set up the proxy sensors. The proxy sensors are very important because these are the way the character is going to move and interact with your player. So please pay attention. If you want to write notes, if you want to pause the video to get screenshots, do so. Your choice. So First, we're going to do behavior triggered by events. On proximity, do something. Okay? This is going to be your first proximity. So on this proximity, it's going to be a test area sphere. Distance is going to be 100. Okay? Near to what? Add a scene knob. Now, what scene knob that I'm going to add is the camera, the active camera that's inside the game. So all enemies are going to walk towards that camera for that interaction, and that's what you're going to see. So here I'm going to select my camera, which is my camera. I called it FPS camera, and that camera is attached to my player animation, which is a sniper, and then I got a fire muzzle, which is the fire that comes out of the gun. So you're going to see that too. So it's going to be a scene knob. Near to what scene knob? FPS camera, trigger when, enter radius. And then you're going to set an action for it. So when you set an action, you're going to go variables and text. Set or change a variable. Now this part is very important, guys, because you don't want to really mess up on this part. When you're writing the variable name, make sure you write it exactly how the way it is. Don't write it different, no lowercase, no uppercase. Write it exactly how the way it is, or your animation might not work. So variable names is enemy, action, exactly how the way it is. Enemy action. Operation is set equals. Variable type is going to be value. And value, instead of putting a 0, you're going to write move. That's going to be the value. Okay? Now, we're going to create another proximity. Behavior triggered by events. On proximity, do something. Now, this proximity is important because the first proximity that I inputted is for the character to move. So when the FPS player is in the distance of 100, the first proximity allow the character to move. The second proximity is once they get into 30 distance of radius, it's going to attack the player. So this one's important too as well. So please pay attention. So 30 distance, near to what? The second proximity. You're going to set it to 30. Near a scene knob, FPS camera, trigger when enter radius. Guys, FYI, make sure you always save your project. Every time anything that you add into Coppercube or any actions that you put in or behaviors or anything that you do with your project, make sure you always save it. Sometimes it's good to save 2 files just in case. So one file is the backup and the second file is where you're going to make all your changes. So if anything goes wrong with the program, you can always go back to your backup file. So make sure you always save your files and everything that you do inside Coppercube. Let's continue. So the second proximity, this is the most important one because this is going to be your attack modes, and this is how the enemy is going to attack the character. So in actions, you're going to go in variables and text, set or change a variable. Okay, so you're going to type in the same exact thing, enemy action, the same exact way, and then it's going to be set equal, value type is value, and in value you're going to put attack. Okay, so let me just let you explain it, that you're also going to be adding additional actions into this proximity, because this proximity is going to be your attack mode proximity. So it's not just you're just putting in a variable. You're going to put in all your actions into this proximities, your attack, and for it to interact with the character. So back into actions. So your first action was a variable, set or change a variable. So we already set that one up. So the next one you're going to want to put is the shoot. You're going to want the character to shoot at the player. So you go to games and sounds, select shoot, direct hit, no bullets. So it's going to hit the characters because it doesn't need bullets because it's a monster animation. The damages it's going to take is 10. So if the player has 100% lifespan, it's going to take 10% of that lifespan every time it attacks it and moves towards it. So weapon range, because you want a good distance from that enemy to that character so it could interact with it. So I'm going to set it up for 2,000. You got to understand the weapon range is how far can that player or that enemy can attack that person so they can feel that attack and that everything. So I'm going to set it up for 2,000. And which CNOM the shoot from is going to be parasite_venom2. All right, so that's the second action. There's going to be 2 more actions. The next action is going to be it's going to be a sound, because I want the enemy to have like a sound when every time he come towards the player, it makes it sound like a slash sound, like soon. So because the character is like throw his claws at it, so I'm gonna put like a sound effect towards it. So I'm gonna go to scripted actions, do something later. Okay, I'm gonna set this to time milliseconds 1,000. Now understand, guys, you don't have to set up your character this way, but feel free to set up your enemy or your character the way you want it to be. You don't have to exactly be like this, but this is a full of a reference of helping you to show how your character will interact with attack modes and sound effects and everything. So it's going to be we're going to set 2 actions in to do something later. So you go to actions to do, you go to games and sound, you're going to play a sound, and this sound's going to be like a slash sound, like a slice, like shling, it's going to be like a slash, and that's what you're going to hear when the character, every time the character come towards him and everything. You're going to add another do something later. So you go to scripted actions, do something later. You're going to set this time milliseconds to 1,500. And you're going to, let me go back because I missed something. So I'm going back into the third do something later. So it was 2 actions that I was supposed to put here, and I forgot the other action. So what I'm gonna add here is I'm gonna reveal the slash. Y'all didn't see the slash, but I'm gonna show y'all the slash right now. The slash is a 2D layout. It doesn't need to be on every character. It could just be on the screen, and that's it. It don't have to be on every enemy that you create. It's just going to be on the screen itself. And I'm going to show you that right now. Now on the 4th, do something later. I set that to 1500. And then I'm going to put hide. And I'm going to set this to invisible for the slash. This is how you're going to see the slash, and the slash is going to disappear. Okay. I'm just double checking my work. Okay. Okay. Now let me save this first. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to show you the slash, how the way the slash look. Guys, make sure you always save your projects. Always save, save, save. Always save. You know, you don't want to lose your work. So on the slash, this is the slash right here. You can't see it because it's invisible. So I'm going to make it show up, and you're going to see it. That's the slash. It's a 2D overlay. This visible, invisible. Okay, invisible, invisible. So that's what that's what the character is gonna do when they come towards the FPS shooter. Is gonna make a slash, what you're gonna see, and then it's gonna disappear. Okay. All right. So let's go back. So now we set up the second proximity. Now it's time to set up the third proximity. So on the third proximity, you're gonna put behavior triggered by events. On proximity, do something. You're gonna set this one up to 30 distance. Okay. And a scene knob. You're gonna put the FPS camera. Okay. All right, let me save this. So we're good. Save, save, save. All right, so on this one, you're gonna set this one to leave radius. All right, so on the third proximity sensor, it's 30. A scene knob, near to what a scene knob, near to which scene knob, FPS camera, and triggered when leave radius. So it's gonna interact once the character leaves the 30 distant radius. What is this gonna do? It's gonna move. So why is this important? So you gotta understand when the character moves towards you, right? That's the first radius for the character to move towards you. That's the first proximity sensor, is for the character to move towards you. The second proximity sensor is a 30 distant proximity sensor for the character to attack you, right? Now, when you're trying to run away from the enemy or run away from that character, it's going to come back and move towards you because it wants to keep attacking you. So this is how you're going to have the character really interact, where you're going to get the suspense and how it really works for an enemy to come and attack you. Okay, so let's continue. Actions. You're gonna set this action to variables and text. Set or change variables. You're gonna type in enemy action. The same exact way, guys. The same exact way. Operation set equal value type is value, and this value is, you're gonna put move. All right. Okay, so that sets up the third proximity sensors. So it's gonna be like 4 proximity sensors that you're gonna put in this to this character for it to interact. Also, you're gonna put in a little JavaScript just for the character to interact and everything. Okay, so just be mindful, follow these steps, and you'll have your enemy working for your player. So the next step is we're going to go back to behavior triggered by events. And this is where you're going to start putting in the JavaScripts. Every few seconds, do something. So now you're setting this up to for the JavaScript for the player to really interact, and you might need a little JavaScript to make it work. So the interval milliseconds, you're going to set that to 1,000. And in actions, you're going to set up 3 actions into this. Every few seconds, do something. So in this one, you're going to go to variables and text. If a variable has a value, do something. If a variable has a value, do something. And that's what you're going to set up for this one. So pay attention to that. If you want to pause it, just write down your notes. Feel free to do it. Type in the variable name, enemy, action. Okay. It's if is going to be equal to equal. Value type is going to be value, and value is going to be move. These are the steps to set up your character exactly the way this is. Now, I'm going to show you the JavaScript that you need to make the character work for you. And this is going to go into actions. Okay, guys? It's going to go into actions. So give me a few seconds. I'm going to show you right now. I have a character already here that already has the behavior set up for it. Let me save this. I'm always saving my work because I want to make sure that anything that I do, it stays there. You don't want to start all over again, and it's kind of aggravating. So you're gonna. So I have a character that already have the behavior set up. So this is how the way you're gonna see how everything's set up. And every few seconds, do something. You're gonna put in 3 actions of if every value do something. Okay. So the first one, and that in this action, you're gonna put execute the JavaScript. All right, and then you're gonna put right in the JavaScript of what that character is. All right, so in that JavaScript, you're putting in a variable s equals get cnob from name. Then in the parentheses, you're gonna put the character name, which is parasite underscore venom. Then the second line is variable other knob, get cnob from name, FPS camera, which is coming towards the camera for the move position. Variable position is going to get cnob from properties, other knob, position. So it's telling that character to move towards it, and so it can interact with it. Then you got the AI command, which is move to position, and that's just telling that AI, hey, go over there. So this is very important. I'm gonna let this stay here for a few seconds so y'all can review it on your own. If you want to write it down, if you want to pause the video and write it down, do so. Okay, so right now I'm going to copy this because this JavaScript is very important for the character to interact. All right. So going back to the character that I'm creating, in actions, you're going to go to special, execute a JavaScript. JavaScript, and you're gonna put in that JavaScript. Now, be mindful, this is important right here. The character's not gonna do anything unless you put in the CNOP name correctly. I'm not using parasite underscore venom. I'm using parasite underscore venom 2. So if I don't put the correct CNOP, that character will not move. So be mindful, guys, to understand you have to write your CNOP correctly. Whatever you name your CNOP, make sure it's typed in correctly or it's not going to work. All right. So that's the first variable. Okay. Let me go back to parasite venom underscore 2. So the second variable is going to be called enemy actions is equal value type is value is attack, and then actions is going to be execute JavaScript. All right, guys. Then you're going to write in your JavaScript code. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to pause the video, take notes and or screenshot your choice so you can make your character work when it comes to attack. So what this is that this JavaScript allows your character to attack you. The first JavaScript was allow your character to move towards you. This JavaScript allows your character to attack you. So you're getting that interaction with that character. So right now I'm going to copy this. Okay. So I'm going to add variables types. If a variable have a value, do something, type in enemy action is equal value, and this is going to be attack for the value. You go into action. You're going to go to special, execute JavaScript. Then you put in your JavaScript. So in this one, you're going to put parasite underscore venom 2. That's the character that I'm using right now. All right. Next is going to be the third. If a variable has a value, do something. Enemy actions. This one's going to be different. You're going to put it's not equal to, because what happens is when the player runs away or walks away from the character, what it's going to do once it walk away from the character. So the character, if it doesn't show the player in sight, is just going to act normal or just ideal. So that's what we're going to put for this one. So value type is going to be value, and you're going to put move. All right, because it's still going to walk around. It's going to walk around, because that's why you don't need the random patrol, because this would allow you to walk around and look for that character and all that. Look for the player, I mean. So in actions, you're going to put another variable type. If a variable has a value, do something. So what this one's going to do, enemy action. I'm going to set this one to ideal. All right. And in actions, you're gonna select set animation. You're gonna select that character, Parasite underscore Venom 2, and you're gonna put ideal. And I'm gonna loop it. And those are gonna be your three actions. Those are gonna be your three actions that you need to set up for every few seconds to do something. Just give me a few seconds, guys. I'm saving it so I don't lose anything when it comes to the project. All right, we're ready. So the next one is going to be, you're going to set your fourth proximity sensor. So you're going to go to behaviors triggered by events. On proximity, do something. You're going to set this one up to 120 distance. Okay. Add a scene knob. You're going to select your active camera. All right. And this one's going to be leave radius. I'm going to save this, guys. Let's give it a few seconds to save. All right. So you're going to go into actions. Variables and text. Set or change a variable. You're going to add enemy actions again. Set to equal. Value type is value. And this one's going to be ideal. Okay. And that's all you need for your proximity sensors for it to interact with the player. You still got two more behaviors to add in here. So you have a fully game where the player attack with the enemy and the enemy attack with the player. So I'm going to add a JavaScript in here, the SM JavaScript. So I'm going to add the SM animated health bar. So I could so you'll see an animated health bar for that enemy. You'll see that the health decreasing. You'll see that the health is decreasing and everything. So that's one thing you're going to see in there. And then we're going to add some collision into the character. So you don't want the character running into walls, going through the walls, or falling onto the ground and everything. You want that character to, you know, walk around the walls. You don't want it to go through the walls. So we're going to add collide when move. So the character stays on the floor, you know, stay grounded on the floor, guys. Got to stay grounded on the floor. I'm going to go ahead and set up my my collisions, and then we're good to go. So just be mindful, these are my collisions from my character because of the size, but go ahead and, you know, size up your collision the way you want, so it's in the center of your collision. You don't want it your collision to be nowhere else. So, you know, my collision is going to be inside that character. Affected by gravity is checked, and that's it. So this is all you need to make your enemy attack your character. So we're going to test it to see if it works. Okay, guys? Once it's finished saving, I'm going to do the test mode, and we're going to check it. Now it's saved. I'm gonna go to File, Publish, Test as a window application, and we're gonna test it. Guys, make sure you download Coppercube 6.4. It's a free edition. Make sure you visit Glitch Velocity page for any tutorials or anything that you feel like you need help to learn or more to do better into your Coppercube. Get in touch with the form of Coppercube. There's a lot of people that's there to help you out. Make sure you join the Facebook group of Coppercube, and make sure you subscribe to Gaming Art Crafts if you want to see more videos in the future. All right, so here we go. So my FPS character, S is back, A is left, B is right, W is forward, and left mouse trigger. So I'm gonna walk towards the character, and you're gonna see how it walks towards me. Last time I showed it, it didn't walk towards me. So here we go. And there you go. And that's how you have your enemy walk towards your player. Guys, thank you for being part of the tutorial and watching this tutorial. Feel free to comment down below, press likes on the page, subscribe to the channel, join more of Gaming Art Crafts as I give more tutorials in the future. Thank you so much.